Hi there, welcome back to Camera Then Coffee. This is where I talk about the up and the coming cameras with my fellow creators so that they can take the right buying decision. And today we are going to list and compare the specs of these 5 cameras just to see how the new Sony ZV E10 stands in front of the other 4. And that's how we'll find out which APS-C camera is right for you. So let's start with Sony ZV E10 and A6400. Both are compact, good-looking cameras with 24.2 megapixel APS-C sensor. Both can record 4K up to 30 fps, slow motion video up to 120 fps, and both have the S-Log 2 and 3 profiles. Both share the same ISO 100 to 32000 and both can continuously shoot 11 frames per second. Now let's look at some of the good reasons to choose Sony ZV E10 over A6400. A 3-inch articulating touchscreen versus the tilting touchscreen on A6400. An active digital stabilization which gives you more stabilized shots. Webcam or live stream option which you also get on A6400, but in case of A6400 you will need a separate audio source. Better battery life in case of stills, better battery life in case of video, a 3.5mm headphone port which is not there on A6400, a Type-C 3.1 USB port versus the Type-B 2.0 port on A6400. And obviously the new Sony ZV E10 is $200 cheaper than the A6400. Whereas on the flip side, the reasons to choose Sony A6400 over ZV E10 are a 0.39-inch viewfinder with 2.36 million dots, whereas there is no EF on ZV E10. An inbuilt flash, and an overall build quality of the body. If these 3 things doesn't matter much, then ZV E10 is the one you should go with. And yeah, not to forget, if you are into vlogging, ZV E10 has some extra benefits which set it apart from A6400. A directional 3-capsule mic on the top which is larger and more effective than the standard built-in mic in A6400. Plus, you get a free windscreen with the camera that covers the mic and reduces the wind noise. The background defocus button which instantly turns the background blur as soon as you press the button. A red frame that appears on the LCD screen as soon as you press the record button which ensures that the recording is on. A still to movie to slow motion button at the top to quickly switch between these 3 modes. A switch around the shutter release button to zoom in or zoom out. Wow man, those are some great one-touch shortcuts which will definitely make your vlogging more efficient and accurate. Anyways, before you take the final decision, don't forget to consider Canon M50 and Canon M50 Mark II as potential options in comparison to Sony ZV E10. Speaking about these 3 cameras, they share the almost similar 24.2 and 24.1 APS-C sensor. They offer 4K and slow motion recording, and they do have a 3-inch articulating touchscreen. And yes, these 3 cameras also have digital stabilization. But there are some differences that make these 3 cameras a lot different from each other. So here are some reasons to buy Sony ZV E10 over Canon M50 or M50 Mark II. UHD 4K recording up to 30 fps, Full HD recording up to 120 fps, S-Log 2 and 3 profiles, better ISO, more AF points to choose from, better battery life in case of stills, in-camera charging, Type-C USB port and a headphone port, plus the benefits of having all those feature buttons on Sony ZV E10. Whereas the good reasons to go for Canon M50 or M50 II over ZV E10 are a 0.39-inch viewfinder with 2.36 million dots, an inbuilt flash, slightly better battery life in case of video, and obviously the cheaper price. Less points but important ones. Moving on to Sony ZV E10 and Fuji XS10, both the cameras can record 4K and slow motion videos. Both have the log profiles, both have a 3-inch articulating touchscreen, and both have 425 AF points to choose from. However, here are a few things that are better in Sony ZV E10 than the Fuji XS10. Better ISO, 11 fps of continuous shooting, better still battery life, better video battery life, and obviously a difference of $300. But other than these specs, XS10 leads in every way. Better sensor, wider DCI 4K recording, slow motion recording up to 240 fps, an electronic viewfinder, better screen resolution, faster shutter speed, an inbuilt flash, and the most important one, 5-axis in-body image stabilization. All these features with an extra price of $300. Cool then, thank you so much for watching. And if you wish to see an all specs comparison of these cameras, please check the links in the description. And if the video was helpful, do support me by subscribing.